you wanted the best, you've got the best podcast. The hottest podcast in the world. The Chris Voss Show, the preeminent podcast with guests so smart you may experience serious brain bleed. The CEOs, authors, thought leaders, visionaries, and motivators. Get ready. Strap yourself in. Keep your hands, arms, and legs inside the vehicle at all times, because you're about to go on a monster education roller coaster with your brain. Now, here's your host, Chris Voss.
Hi, folks. Voss here from thechrisvossshow.com. Listen to that wonderful voice just piercing through there. The Iron Lady sings it. That makes it official. It's never official until she sings it. 16 years on the podcast, 2,800 episodes, and clearly my Alzheimer's kicking in. I don't know what numbers I'm rattling off, but they tell me it's true. One of the oldest living podcasts, still regularly broadcasting. We bring you the most amazing minds, the most amazing stories, the most amazing journeys of life to tell you how to improve the quality of your life or entertain you, make you laugh, and make you enjoy life a whole lot better. If you want a show that makes you hate everything, yourself, and life, that's a different podcast. Don't listen to those. Go to goodreads.com/Chris Voss for your family and friends, Facebook.com/Chris Voss, LinkedIn.com/Chris Voss, YouTube.com/Chris Voss. All those crazy places. They know. Opinions expressed by guests on the podcast are solely their own and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of the host or the Chris Voss Show. Some guests of the show may be advertising on the podcast, but it is not an endorsement or review of any kind. Today, an amazing young man on the show. We're going to be talking about his books and insights. He has several different books that are out. The one we'll be talking about today starts today on April 1st. It's the daily journal that transforms entrepreneurs, the Q2 version. That would be quarter two for those of you who don't understand shorthand. And I should also say let me reread this. The daily journal that transforms entrepreneurs, Q2 spring edition. That way you guys can Google it properly. Out December 2nd, 2024 by Randy Belham. He's on the show with us today. We'll be talking about the 4 quarters of the daily journals he has that transforms entrepreneurs, some of his other works, and some of the coaching and different things that he does. So we'll get into it with him and find out more. He's a life coach, serial entrepreneur, and world traveler. He's been to over 36 countries, and the number is growing yearly. He founded his first company in 1997 and is compassionate about coaching, writing, and mediation to help others achieve their goals. He is currently based in Montreal, Canada, beautiful city, and travels worldwide, speaking, engaging with people and entrepreneurs about leadership, entrepreneurship, and personal development. And welcome to the show. How are you, Randy?
Thank you so much. It's a beautiful introduction. I appreciate it. One thing that you said is mediation, which I'm pretty good at it, but it's more meditation.
I've got one of those giant cameras in front of the screen. I think I said, instead of saying passion, I said compassion.
Okay. It's all good.
Plus I'm old. I have to make all the words super big to remember to read them. And then I'm like, which line am I on? Randy, welcome to the show. Give us your .coms. Where can people find you on the interwebs?
Sure. I'm easily Googleable. My name is Randy Belham. You put it in Google, you'll find me. My website is randybelham.com. And in all the social media, just put Randy Belham and you'll find me very easily. BLHAM. Just think of bells and ham, because that's what I think of when I think of ham. Or more ham. I mean, now I'm hungry. So Randy, give us a 30,000 overview of what's inside this book. I developed this journal predominantly because as a reflection tool. I'm a firm believer of putting thoughts onto paper. And I found that online or in different places, there was no actual place for entrepreneurs or high-level leaders that they can have a journal that they can, populate with very useful prompts. And so that's why I developed it. It's got, prompts that are predominantly useful for entrepreneurs or even C-level executives.
Now, journaling is something top people do. I think all successful people journal and have that kind of self-reflection. I tend to journal on Facebook. I kind of write my life down. It's kind of nice because every few years it sends you a reminder. Here's what you're doing 8 years ago. And you're like, oh, there's my cute puppies. But journaling and having that reflection can really help open our minds to maybe some of the scotomas, the patterns that we have. Some people like me, we just wake up at 50 and we look back on the wreckage of our lives and our successes, but mostly the wreckage, and go, geez, we should probably seek therapy. But a journal can kind of help you maybe avoid some of that.
Right, absolutely. A lot of times we're thought that success is from an outside validation.
fast cars, big bank accounts, huge titles. But for me, I think a lot of people, and you can take any celebrity pretty much that's written a book on what their life was like, and they'll come to a point where the inner work was not done. So they get to a point that I have everything, but I'm not happy, and I'm in internal chaos consistently. And so most of the time, or sometimes they start going into, bad habits, it can be addiction or whatever it may be. So the journal actually allows you to look internally and ask yourself, profound, deep questions that normally nobody else would ask you.
Mm-hmm. We were just talking on the previous show a couple hours ago with someone about, entrepreneurs and sometimes addiction. Sometimes we go for crutches. For a lot of years, for me, the extra sugar from vodka and being able to relax, being a high ADHD, addictions and some of the things that people go on. But, I wish I'd spent more time journaling. When I go back and I read some of the things I was writing and talking about and goals I had when I was 20, I was listening to a lot of Anthony Robbins back then. That was back when he had the CDs. He was on TV all the time for that bit. But, the journaling is so self-reflective. And one of the biggest challenges you have is, we all build scotomas. We all build kind of self-limiting or self-bullshitting belief systems. We do Faustian bargains with ourselves sometimes. Like I used to say, vodka helps me sleep and be a better entrepreneur because I wake up rested, and then I'm not up all night with my ADHD. But no, it doesn't actually. It's just running from it. Now, you've targeted this towards entrepreneurs as opposed to other people. Why do you hate other people? No, I'm just kidding. Why did you focus this on entrepreneurs?
Because I'm a serial entrepreneur myself. So what I found, growing my companies was I came to a place that, again, the inner work wasn't done, and I was in a deep depression, if you can put it that way, almost suicidal. And I ended up packing my bags and moving to Thailand for 3 months and living with the monks.
Oh, wow.
And spent time in meditation there. So when I still did some, my journey lasted another 3 years on that traveling route. Oh. And when I came back, I was like, okay, how can I serve my purpose? We always have that question of what is my purpose? And I noticed that in the entrepreneurial field in particular, where there's a high rate of divorce, there's a high rate of burnout, there's a high rate of addiction, and health issues, of course. I said, what can I do? How can I serve this demographics? That's, for me, was underserved to a point where I said, okay, I'm going to start coaching. And then that's where the development of the journal came in a couple of years after I started my coaching practice.
Now you have 4 different journals for 4 different quarters of the year. Tell us how that works and how it's set up. I guess the Q2 daily journal we're talking about today and we let off with starts today on April 1st.
Exactly. So I use this very similar principle to, business ownership and entrepreneurialism, which is all divided into quarters. What are we doing in Q1? What are we doing in Q2? Which is great when we're planning for the business, but how do we transpire that into our own personal lives and how we're being good leaders to the people that we serve within our company? So that's where the breakdown came out between Q1 and Q4. And then I did more of a topic-based or a theme-based along the lines of seasons. So seasonality, especially in Canada or in any of the northeastern states. I believe you're in California. Yeah, but I mean, we all have like different experiences. Winter is winter, and I think pretty much everywhere in the U.S., but it's just a different kind of winter, right?
Yeah, it's just year-round, isn't it, or something like that? I don't know. How long do you guys have snow up there in Canada?
We still have a little bit now. But, summer usually kicks in around June and it goes to about September. But it gets up to 100, 110. So it's still...
Is that Celsius or Fahrenheit?
Fahrenheit.
So you guys are getting up to 110 now.
Oh yeah. We get some really hot
global warming, I guess.
yeah, for sure.
Did you guys have a lot of snow this year? I've been spending time with my mom in Utah a little bit more than Vegas, and it snowed like twice here in the valley or 3 times, and that's really weird.
Yeah, we didn't. It was a cold winter, I could say. There wasn't that much snow this year. I mean, there was some, obviously, but nothing that's, crazy.
It's kind of weird. It's almost like the earth hates us now. Why? Why? We're such great caretakers. We're so good to the earth. So we throw trash on all over the place. But we're good at.
It's funny on my Instagram post. I just had my story from last year, and I put it into my you get the memories on Instagram, and I posted my story, and it was exactly that. Is we inherited the earth, and I'm standing on the St. Lawrence River. There's a picture of me, and we inherited the earth, but here we are throwing trash all over the place into it, right? So it's funny that you mentioned that today, because that was my post from last year.
I grew up in the 70s, before Carter invented the EPA, and we had like rivers on fire and shit, and you just kind of figured that the rust colored drinking water that you drink out of the faucet, just had minerals in it. It's probably
Copper.
Good for you. Yeah. I mean, mineral, a little asbestos there, a little bit of plutonium,
Right.
it's all good, man. Cleans you out. In fact, people used to do that with plutonium. They used to put it in a drinking water vase that had plutonium at the bottom, and they would drink it. You were supposed to drink 6 of them a day because it was good for you. I mean, it will definitely clean out everything that's wrong with you and make you whole again, but that will be in a coffin. Anyway, that was dark, Chris. Jesus, what a show. So we'll go light. I mispronounced that, of course, in the bio, but you like meditation for entrepreneurs and why stillness can be an advantage in business. Tell us about that.
So meditation is a powerful tool, right? I wasn't introduced to it, like I said, until I went to Thailand. I mean, really introduced to it. I knew what meditation was, as a general concept. What I found out living with the monks in silence for these 3 months was that we say a lot of things in our mind, and it all is from the past or the future. It's one of these things. And it's not true what we say. They're just movies on repeat and whatever we're catching on to. So when it comes to the entrepreneurial world and becoming a profound leader, it's fundamental to take a step back and to go into silence. It doesn't have to be hours of silence or 3 years in Thailand, but it can be just 5 or 10 minutes just to step back and ask three really powerful questions. One, is this true? How is this serving the company? And what would happen if fear was not involved in this equation?
Oh, that's an interesting
So if we can
question.
do that, the decisions become more profound and can cost you literally months, if not years, of unnecessary expenses.
Questions are the great thing about with your journal and different things. Questions are some of the most important things. I remember taking that from the second book, Awaken the Giant Within by Tony Robbins.
Better questions.
Yeah, he talks about there is sometimes successful people, they just ask better questions, like you said. And I remember, I used to try and get out of my black box, my box of whatever belief system I had, and I would ask people. I'd be like, I think this is a great idea, but then I would go poll my employees, my board, my people that were my advisors, and is this really as good as I've jacked myself up to think it is? Is this? I mean, what am I missing here? I mean, it seems like the greatest idea ever, but surely I'm not seeing the downside for some reason. I can't. What's the fallacy here that I'm missing? Because there has to be somewhat of a downside, because if you can assess, well, the upside's better than the downside, and we can probably live with the downside, then you can move forward.
Sure.
But it's a real big deal, and so meditation is important. What kind of meditation do you recommend? Do I need, because I went to Thailand for 3 months, and all I came back with was I had to see the doctor for penicillin. So evidently I didn't see the monks. I don't know what that means. It's my favorite joke.
Yeah, people tell me the same thing. They're like, "Oh, so you went to Thailand for 3 months? So how was your experience?"
Wink. Yeah. Sure, you were at the monks. Yeah, I did some meditation too. Anyway, but yeah, what sort of meditation do you practice?
So the one that I use is the more common term is Vipassana. That a lot of people know that. So it's just being mindful. Vipassana.
Yeah, that sounds like a pasta I get in Italy or something.
Could be, yeah. Best
yeah, it could be. No. Yeah.
It's just mindful of breath. So just sitting in silence with and just focusing on the breath, because what essentially will happen at one point is you're going to go into thought. We're human, and it's all about just once those thoughts come in, it's not attaching to the thought, whether it's true, whether the emotional is just so. Watch it as if it's a cloud on the sky and it's just coming by, whatever that thought is, and just let it go. And eventually what you're going to start seeing is these patterns, these repeatable patterns that are coming into your mind. And those are the ones that you can journal on and say, okay, how can I stop this from happening? What do I need to see? What's the I rewrite this within my script, within myself? And that for me is the most profound way. Sure, there's multiple different ways of meditation, but one thing people get confused with meditation, and I've spoken about, is the reflection. It's not, meditation is not sitting there in thought and thinking about everything. It's pretty much the opposite, whereas allowing the thoughts just to come in, but allowing them to go as well and not attaching to them.
I mean, that's logic and reason, right? Stoicism is finest. You focus on your logic, you focus on reason, and you don't let emotion shadow that. And it's kind of hard because we're all emotional beings, and we make sometimes a lot of decisions based on emotion, especially, when we buy shit that no one else gives a shit whether we own it or not. What's that Fight Club line? We buy shit to impress people that don't care about us. But having that reflection, I think that's the importance too of the, I do this thing called Gratitude for Gratefulness Day, and it's my Sunday. And Sunday's my grounding day. Technically, I should actually call it that, the grounding day, huh? That would make more sense.
Beautiful. I love it.
Grounding day. This is why we talk about shit, because they come up with better ideas.
Exactly.
And so every Sunday I do this, and it's my day. There's no dates on, I'm single, so there's no dates on Sunday. Sunday's my day. Hugh Hefner used to have a day where he had 2 days with no girls. He had one day to work on his archives, no women allowed. And then he had his buddies over for Thursday or Friday night. All of his men friends, his men crew, no women are allowed. And so that's my personal day. That's what I'm saying. So there's no distractions allowed on that day. I'll text people, but phone calls, but we're not. That's my day. Friday and Saturday, that's date nights. That's all that kind of crap.
Sure.
And so I usually take myself out to a nice steak. I go someplace peaceful. I usually like to go, there's a lakeside restaurant that I like to go up to that sits right on the lake, and you can sit on the patio and get this beautiful view. And so that's kind of like a meditative thing. But I like with journaling every day and how you've outlined it, you're every day on point reflecting, and that's what I do on Sundays, but you're reflecting on your day. You're thinking about what maybe you did, what maybe you didn't do, maybe ways you can improve. Because I talk to so many leaders, and I'll be like, what is your leadership type? I don't know. What sort of patterns do you use in leadership? What is your toolkit? What do you go? I don't know. I just lead. And, and sometimes it's poorly, and sometimes it's really working well for him because, you kind of have your little toolbox, your system to go back to. But journaling can really help you stay on point and help you be reflective from day to day. I think I should do more of that.
No, it's absolutely true. And the way that I've also structured the journal is that there's a morning session and there's an evening session. The morning is all about, in French we have an expression. It's we're setting the table. So when you have company come over or whatever, you set the table. You set a nice table, put all the nice cutlery, all the fine china on, and you're receiving your guests. So it's the same kind of thing. Is you're setting the table for the day.
What was that term again?
In French, it's called met la table.
Watch your language on the show, bud. No, I'm just kidding. I just had to set that joke up. Sorry, man. I've been liking that joke lately. Anytime somebody says something weird, I go, hey, man, watch the language on the show. So, but you're from Canada, so we can cut you an exception up there.
Sure.
I'm a big Trailer Park Boys. Trailer Park Boys fan?
Yeah, the Trailer Park, yeah.
Yeah, I'm a big Rush fan. I love everything Canadian. The Second City, comedy.
Rush. Who's your favorite hockey team?
You know what? I'm not into hockey, so I guess I'm a really bad Canadian fan.
Okay.
I'm failing at that. I do have a favorite curling team. Does that help? I'm going to cheat here and say the Olympic curling team from Canada. I don't even know who the fuck they are, but I'm sure they're good. But no, I've always looked at that sport and went, maybe we should take over their country and make them the 51st state. But no, I'm sure it's a fine sport. God knows you don't want to be associated with us. It's bad enough you people have to live next door to us. I always tell my Canadian friends, I go, us Americans, we're like the Billy Bush or Billy Carter sort of. Who's the Bush one? The bad Bush son. But we're like the embarrassing brother who's always starting fights and getting drunk and high on coke and shit and causing problems. You have to always bail us out of jail and shit. We're that family member, and you guys have to live next door to us.
You guys are like the nice people who are just like, are you fucking serious? We're within the nuclear blast of these idiots, and they keep starting wars. So that's
but to your point is, you feel it like that, but from my perspective, and I don't want to get into the political side of it, but we love America. We travel there. We go to Florida. We go to California. I have friends that immigrated to the U.S. Americans are great. There's a lot good to be said about it. There's no reason to say sorry for whatever you're going through. It's just part of the cycle. There's always these cycles of politicians that come in, and it's just the way the cookie crumbles.
Yeah, I just always tell my Canadian friends, we love you, and we still love Rush and Trailer Park Boys. Some people say I'm Ricky. So I don't know. That's what my friends tell me. Maybe that was when I was drinking. Anyway, back on topic. With the journals, now you had another book too that you had that wasn't a journal. Do we want to get a plug-in for that?
You can. I mean, it's how to live, in the present moment. It's a small ebook that's very easy read. You can probably finish it in a few hours. That was my first try at writing a book, and I thought it was like a good start to go into. It's really all about what I've learned in Thailand about living actually in the present moment, where most of us say we understand it conceptually. We say we'd like to live in the present moment, but we're continuously reaching for everything that's happened in the past or what's going to happen in the future, and there's this battle always inside of our minds. So I always say, people tell me what's the secret? And I said, just the present moment is the perfect moment. Like right now, you and I, we're here, we're talking. There's nothing wrong here. Or we're talking, we're alive. So what more do we need? And then as soon as I say that, they're like, yeah, that's right. And then 2 seconds later, our mind is gone. Oh yeah, but this happened before. This person did me wrong, or I have to do this tomorrow. I got it's not perfect. It's not a perfect moment. Like what you're thinking is not perfect, maybe, but the moment itself is very perfect.
Yeah, the only thing you can change in this world is the present. Mm-hmm. You can't change the past. I learned this from Eckhart Tolle, and that's probably a good stamp of approval for meditation and mediation. It's entrepreneurs get burned out. They go through what you talk about, decision fatigue and uncertainty, pressure. Now with AI, and the world seems to be moving at like 5 trillion miles. It's like somebody took the world and just gave it an extra spin. Roll the dice there. And you ever take the globe and you just walk by a globe that's standing on a thing? Gen X, Gen Z, you can look up what a globe is, and you just whack it so it just goes 500 miles an hour. That's kind of what it feels like with AI right now and some of the shit going on in this world.
For sure.
And you're just like, hey man, who moved my cheese? And because my cheese, someone hit the globe, and now it's over in, I don't know, Japan or something. My cheese flew over there, and so now I got to talk to us about how some of the different things like journaling and meditation can help that.
Sorry, I didn't get the first part.
Tell us how meditation and your journaling can help get away from some of that fatigue.
It comes down to, again, the first key question is, what is true? What is, so in meditation, what is true? What are you thinking about that's actually true? That answers a lot. And then after that, you can look at where can you move without fear? We're often stuck, or self-doubt, or ego. That's another big one, especially entrepreneurs at a higher level or any level. Many are, the alpha, that you may have heard that term. So what's that?
I am that term.
Yeah. So what it does is it allows you, in meditation, just to sit back and say, okay, what's all this self-doubt? What is this ego that things that I firmly believe is true, that it's not necessarily true. And it questions everything, and it allows you to go deeper. It's kind of like coaching yourself, because that's what I do on a daily basis. Is in coaching, it's all about open-ended questions. I never give advice. I never tell people what to do or how to do it. I just dive in with really profound questions and get deeper with open-ended questions. So the journaling and the meditation is that tool that really lowers the volume and that inner peace that so many of us seek, and that freedom. That's the most profound tool to do that. And of course, it's consistent action always. Yeah. You can't expect to go to the gym one day and come out looking like Arnold Schwarzenegger.
What?
Again, so it's about consistent action, and eventually, as time goes by, you're going to get much more powerful in the inner mindset, in the inner chaos that's happening. It's going to calm down substantially. So they're the best tools out there. Better than medication. Actually, the monks in Thailand used to, like, when they spoke, we weren't allowed to speak, but they spoke to us.
Oh, really?
And one of them was like, one of them said, all you Westerners, and he was laughing about it. He goes, you guys just take pills. You guys just take pills to solve these problems, you know? So it's powerful. It's a powerful tool.
Yeah. I mean, it definitely is. You got me thinking about it again. I came with something last night that I added to my calendar that might be close. Maybe I'm just slowly working to journaling every day. Although I technically, Facebook is my journal. I overshare things over there, and people go, what the fuck? But hopefully they think. But I came with something that was my daily thing. And I came with something called Awe of Wonderment of Life. And so it's a daily thing. It's on my calendar now with my daily Stoic journaling hour, which I don't do clearly. I think I have a daily Stoic book that I journal with. Or I have to find where it is. But yeah, I see that now on my calendar. Fail. I came with this thing last night called Awe of Wonderment of Life. And I want to try every day to find something to take awe in. To find something that's a wonderment of life. And I'm a photographer by hobby, and it's not like I'm great or anything, folks. Give me a break. But I'm a photographer, and so usually you're always seeking the moment, a human moment, a beautiful moment, or it could be a tragic moment too. But you're looking for a human moment where you can define, some level of humanity or the experience of humanity in an image. And so I go street shooting, and I'm usually hunting for the moment. I'm looking for that thing. And sadly, that moment sometimes, it's only there for a split second. And if you can capture it with a camera, then even, you're even luckier. But, I think I was looking at something last night. I think one of my favorite things is to go through the world's pictures, the best pictures of the week that they're taken by Reuters or the AP or by, I don't know, probably Getty. Well, Getty owns everything at this point. And I think they buy like every damn picture in existence at this point. Getty Images, not Getty Lee of Rush. For those of you who know a Rush fan and a Canadian fan. But and looking for the awe and the wonderment. Like every day I want to go find something to look at. And a lot of those times in those photos you'll see, or I follow a lot of black and white photography and portrait. And so sometimes, there's just haunting black and white images people will take of buildings or people or landscapes, and they make you really kind of think. And I used to do that when I lived in California. I go down to the beach and look at the awe of the sunset and the ocean, and realize that thing had been there longer than any of my problems. And none of my problems meant shit really when it came down to the eternity that thing's been running and will be. I just sat on the beach and I just felt so stupid because I'm just a 5 trillion human being this ocean has witnessed, sitting here booming about his stupid problems, and it's just sitting there going, we'll be here tomorrow. It won't. Your problems won't either. I love the idea of focusing on this, because then you can and now there's a series of questions in there that prompt you in the book each day, maybe.
Correct. Exactly.
Okay. And they kind of help you. Do they help you with balance your life and your work? You hear about that a lot now, work and life balance.
Absolutely. I mean, the prompts are open, and there's room to write. So it's your journal, it's your personal. It's however you see. Like a question could be, what would make this day the most meaningful day? That could be a work answer. It could be a business answer. It could be your own personal answer. But it's setting your table for your day and putting that on paper. That intention on paper will make you seek it out for the rest of the day. And the other thing also is the prompts. Some of them, they come up on a repetitive basis because it's you start looking for it. Your subconscious is programmed now to look for these answers as you're going through your day. So you're looking continuously for, okay, what am I going to write in my journal tomorrow of, what was the greatest thing that happened to me today? Example. So you're looking for that throughout the day. Okay, was that the greatest thing that happened to me? Oh, so far so good. And then you keep going. And that sets up the subconscious. And so when you're talking about the awe, like what are we in awe with in every given moment? I come back to that. That is happiness right there. Mm-hmm. If you look at, I'm sure you maybe have done the test before, you maybe not, but if I tell you, in the next 20 seconds, count all the red things in your room, you close your eyes, and then I tell you, okay, how many blue things were there? you're not gonna know the answer, because our focus is on all those little red things. If we're looking at everything that could be sad or what could be wrong or everything that's not going well for us in that day or moment, we're gonna find them. There's gonna be a confirming bias for that. But if we just stop and say, okay, what's beautiful here? In every given moment, there's something beautiful happening around us. Every single moment. Right now, my moment is talking to you.
Oh, my moment is talking to you because I love doing this as a job, and I love people's stories. I love their journeys, and I've had people say to me, they go, "Chris, you seem to know a lot of stuff. You've done 28 shows. You have all these experts on the show. You pretty much probably get bored with knowing everything." And I'm like, number one, I don't know everything. I'm not the Dunning-Kruger sort of person. And number two, even if, someone comes on, because, leadership and all these things we talk about all the time, a lot of times you guys will give me different perspectives of looking at stuff from a different angle. It's kind of like the same thing, but it's that it gives me sometimes their angle on it is different. And I'm like, oh, I never really thought of it from that angle. And then they'll reinforce the fact that, like we just did, where I have on my thing to journal every day, and I don't. Bad, Chris, bad. I'll smack myself with it.
I know a great journal, and I can send you one.
Yeah. I know this guy.
Give me your address. I'll send you one.
That's a deal. Let's talk about some of the offerings you have on your website so people can know what you do there. I see some different things here. You do life coaching. And who's your ideal client? If they're out there listening, who's your ideal client, and how rich do they have to be to work with you?
It's not a question of richness. I mean, but the people that I work with the most is entrepreneurs or leaders that have had some kind of success in their life. They've reached it financially and whatever that may look like, and but there's something missing. They know that there's that inner chaos that's happening. Those are the people that I predominantly work with. So CEOs, business owners. I work with a wide variety of people, but that's my ideal client that I focus on, or actually I niche down on, if they want to say it that way. But it can come from different areas. It's not, there's no barrier. And my coaching fees are really reasonable. I have one-on-one coaching. I also have group coaching, so that can help people that are not necessarily, they can't afford a one-on-one type relationship. But I only take 10 clients at a time.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's geared like that because what I say is I overserve my clients. So we have these one-on-one chats similar to what we're having today, but it's more coaching. And during the week, I'm always texting out to my clients and saying, whether it's a reflective text just to make them think, or it can be an accountability text where I'm saying, okay, did you had these action items to do this week? Where are you at? And what are you you hitting on it? So that's the way I work with my one-on-one clients. And then group coaching is similar format, but it's in a group setting.
Huh. And you give out the journals, help people, you don't give them out, but you sell them out and, help people do their things and get better. What else do we need to talk about? Any offerings that we maybe need to do? I notice here you can apply for private advisory on your website.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the one-on-one coaching. And so basically it's a free session, but the people that book on that, there's a series of questionnaire that they have to answer before booking the session. Oh. And then I decide if it's something that I can help them with, or if I'm possible to help them with. Because like I said, I only take 10 clients, so I'm pretty selective on who I work with. And I also do speaking gigs. I speak on stages. My story is really that inner chaos about, using meditation, using mindfulness tools to actually, understand better of what's happening internally and become a better leader.
Become a better leader. I mean, that's all something we need to do. But yeah, we need to reflect more on what we do and how we do it. And leadership from ego is a horrible place to be. One thing you talk about is emotional intelligence. It's one of the things you have listed here on the website you help people with. Why is it emotional intelligence becoming so popular as a leadership topic and like servant leadership, stuff like that?
I think it's important in all facets of life, whether, it's the leadership of a company or even as a parent or a teacher. Emotional intelligence is all about, understanding where your emotions are coming from, how they're coming, what you're thinking, because an emotion that comes from what you're thinking. Whatever's popping in your mind, you're going to have that emotional reaction to it. As we talked about, meditation helps you get powerful at those thoughts and understanding them. And so when that emotion comes up, so now when I get like an emotion of, let's say, anger, which is a human, even monks get angry, believe it or not. But that emotion, the anger, and right away, my reflex, because of my practice, is what was I just thinking of? So it could be someone cuts me off on the highway, right? How angry, some people get really angry at that. Me, not so much, but they get cut off. So you get a little bit of anger. What's the thought? Oftentimes the thought might be, who does that person think they are? What an ass, or whatever it is, right? But the reality can be that person is in a rush to get to the hospital, to get to a job interview, to get to work and not be fired. There's many things that can happen there.
Yeah.
So that's what emotional intelligence is all about. And in leadership is profound, because I know, and I've seen it, where people get fired because of an emotional response.
Yeah.
But the person that got fired is probably one of their best employees that they've ever had. And to replace them costs a ton of money. And you're not even guaranteed that you're going to have a good employee as good as that one that you just let go.
Yeah.
And it can be like caught, like spending. It can be, there's so many ways that emotional intelligence comes into play.
Yeah. We all have those moments where we kind of have a crash out. Sometimes, if you get me where I don't have a whole lot of sleep, like if I'm running short on sleep, I know that I have a higher propensity to pop and lose my shit, crash out maybe. But, knowing that, I'm able to watch myself a little bit more and go, hey, what are you doing there, buddy? We know you're short on sleep. We know that you're not Mr. Happy-go-lucky today. So why don't you just take your little ass back to bed and take a little nappy nap there, boy? Put the baby back to bed, in other words.
I love that.
Yeah, it really it helps, but it doesn't always help, because sometimes if you trigger me, then I just, then I rip your head off, and I'm walking around with your skeleton in my hands going, sorry, oops, my bad, right. That sort of thing.
Then there's the collateral damage, but that's the whole thing, is that emotional intelligence is there. That's the whole thing, is to prevent that, especially in leadership. It can cost not only in leadership, like in couples relationships and relationships with your kids. It can be detrimental for years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Sometimes you can say something and that ends a relationship, which explains why I'm still single. True story, folks. So as we go out, anything more we haven't discussed, Randy, about your books and what you do and how you help people?
I think we covered it all. And, obviously I can talk about this for hours and hours and hours, but I
need to have to bill you, folks.
Sure. No, I think, people that are listening, to book a one-on-one session with me, and it's free. The first one's free. It's always, and just have this conversation where, I can get deeper into the inner workings of what's happening, and the clarity and that awareness that we talked about today.
Well, anyway, it's been insightful, and you've got me back to where I'm going to try and journal. I bought your book, the Q2 Daily Journal, there, and it's on its way in the next 24 hours. I get on.
Awesome. Thank you.
So today's the 1st of April, 2026. Don't write me on YouTube, people. They do this thing on YouTube where they're like, oh, you're so stupid. That thing you reviewed 10 years ago, the price isn't $99. It's 99 cents now. You're so dumb. And you're like, did you look at the date on the thing? Like they're still reviewing my reviews on and commenting on like the Xbox 360 review I did in 2014 and shit.
Oh,
so, yeah, they're still writing stuff. You're so stupid. It's not $3.49 anymore. It's really cheap now. You did a bad review. A lot of these went bad. I'm like, oh my God. Like seriously. Like they're still commenting on the review we did of like the iPhone 2 and 3 or something.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That was like almost 20 years ago.
It's I guess there's a lot of countries, it's worldwide. There's these countries, I guess they're finally getting those phones or something.
Okay.
So they're just secondhand making their way around the world. And like all the people, they're like, hey, my iPhone 5 won't turn on. Do you know how to fix it? I'm like, what do I look like, Apple? Anyway, so thank you very much for coming on, Randy. It's been fun to have you on and insightful. And you got me back to journaling. I've got your book on order, and hopefully everyone will order it as well. It is entitled, let's see, let me switch back to where my screen was. The Daily Journal That Transforms Entrepreneurs, Q2, the spring edition. And you can, of course, get the Q1, the Q3, the Q4, different editions as well as you go throughout the year. So get those prompts to cultivate your gratitude, reflect on progress, and set clear intentions. That's what I mainly do on Sundays, and I'll try and do it daily now, is focus on the gratitude, because it really helps reground you and think about what's important and kind of map out
the rest of your life. You got to have those life planning days, folks. Otherwise, you get to be 58 and you're an idiot with a podcast. You've achieved nothing, like me. Anyway, guys, thanks for tuning in. Go to Goodreads.com/Chris Voss, LinkedIn.com/Chris Voss, or else I'm going to throw myself in front of my own bus again. Go refer the show, damn it. Be good to each other. Stay safe. We'll see you next.
You've been listening to the most amazing, intelligent podcast ever made to improve your brain and your life. Warning, consuming too much of the Chris Voss Show podcast can lead to people thinking you're smarter, younger, and irresistible sexy. Consume in regularly moderated amounts. Consult a doctor for any resulting brain bleed.
All right, Randy, looks like there was a good comic